Chapter 14. Help at last. Some time had passed since Elena refused to help her, yet the conversation lingered like an open wound. Sleep had become a stranger to Monica. Each night she lay awake as the memory of Max's death replayed relentlessly in her mind, growing sharper, heavier, more unbearable with every repetition. His final word, her name echoed louder each time, Monica. It haunted her. She could not shake the thought that perhaps if she had stayed just a little longer, if she had delayed her return, he might have lived, grown older, had a future, a life beyond 14. The possibility gnawed at her, cruel and unrelenting. Her attempts to persuade Gaius to grant her leave to visit the ruins of Palm Brinks had proven futile. As queen, her movements were dictated by duty, every step bound by protocol. She could not simply leave, not without purpose sanctioned by the crown. The castle, once a symbol of power and privilege, had become something else entirely. A cage. As a princess, Monica had found ways to slip past its watchful gaze. She had stolen moments of freedom, sneaking out to meet Tren beneath the cover of night, evading guards with youthful daring and a touch of recklessness. Those days were gone. After Griffin's assault, the castle had been transformed into a fortress in the truest sense. Security was no longer merely precaution, it was absolute. Every corridor, every entrance, every shadow was being watched. Guards stood at every post, vigilant and unyielding, their patrols constant and precise. Sir George oversaw it all. A man of iron discipline and unwavering loyalty, he had reshaped the castle's defences into something nearly impenetrable. Under his command, the Royal Guard had been hardened, trained relentlessly, and equipped with advanced weaponry. Surveillance systems now stretched across the grounds, scanning for threats, leaving little to chance. There were no blind spots left, no quiet corners, no escape. What had once been a place of refuge now stood as a barrier, sealing her inside its stone walls. Monica rose slowly from her bed, the silence of her chamber pressing in around her. Crossing the room, she knelt before a chest hidden from casual sight. With careful hands, she unlocked it and lifted the lid. Inside rested the star glass, delicate, unassuming, yet it holds the weight of time itself. She reached out, her fingers trembling slightly as they came to rest against the smooth surface of the hourglass. For a moment, she said nothing, her reflection faintly caught in the glass. Then, softly, almost as though afraid to be heard, she spoke. "I am so sorry, Max. As queen, my powers fail me in preserving your existence. You were denied the opportunity to embrace a fulfilling life, a tragedy for which I bear responsibility. Not even the aid of your mother could grant me the means to rescue you." Her voice faltered at the end, the words hanging in the stillness. In that quiet moment, surrounded by stone and silence, Monica felt the full weight of her crown, not as power, but as limitation. And for the first time since her coronation, it felt unbearably heavy. A soft, measured knock broke the stillness of Monica's chamber, this time from the balcony doors. "Your Majesty." The voice was familiar. Monica rose at once and crossed the room, opening the doors just enough to allow Osmond to slip inside. Cool night air followed him in, brushing against her skin. She studied him with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. "How did you even get up here?" she asked quietly. Osmond gave a small, almost amused smile. "Lunar Labs stealth optic camouflage," he replied, "makes scaling castle walls far less dramatic than it should be." Despite herself, Monica felt a flicker of surprise. Before she could question him further, he produced a small card and handed it to her. "Elena asked me to deliver this to you." At the mention of Elena's name, Monica's expression hardened. The memory of their last conversation lingered, sharp and unresolved. "If this message is an apology, she can forget it," Monica said coolly. "She made her choice when she refused to help me." "Your Majesty," Osmond replied gently, "I believe you'll be surprised." Reluctantly, Monica activated the card. A soft hum filled the room as a holographic projection flickered to life before her. Elena's image formed, clear and unmistakable, her voice steady as she spoke. "Monica, if you're reading this message, then Osmond has reached you. I apologize for not assisting you earlier. Spies permeate your castle, and I cannot risk jeopardizing your plan. Osmond will facilitate your covert journey to Palm Brinks. Utilize the Starglass within the mansion. It presents your best chance to forewarn Max about entering the mines. Please, Monica, save my son, and above all, embrace the freedom to live your life. You deserve happiness." The projection faded. For a moment, Monica simply stood there, stunned. The weight of Elena's words settled over her, replacing anger with something far more uncomfortable: regret. "All this time, she was willing to help me," Monica murmured, "and I called her selfish, a coward, and a terrible mother." She lowered her gaze. "I need to apologize to her." Osmond shook his head lightly. "I'm sure she would understand, Monica, but right now we need to focus. Palm Brinks is only a day's walk from here." Monica nodded slowly, gathering herself. "Yes, you're right. But first, I need to change. I can't leave dressed like this. Someone will recognize me." She moved behind the dressing screen and quickly shed her nightwear, replacing it with the outfit she had worn during her journey through time. The moment she pulled it on, something within her shifted. It felt right, familiar, free. She stepped out again, fastening a strap across her back to secure the Starglass. "It's good to see the old you back," Osmond remarked. Monica allowed herself a faint smile. "Do you have a plan for getting us out of here?" "Already sorted," he replied, producing a compact device. "Lunar Labs gear. This one fires a zip line." He stepped onto the balcony and aimed carefully. With a sharp thwip, the cable shot across the moat, anchoring firmly on the far side. Securing his end, he gave the line a testing tug. "Now we can make our exit. Are you prepared, Monica?" "Just a moment," she said, pausing. She turned back into the room and approached a familiar place where her father's sword rested. For a brief second, her hand hovered before she took hold of it, her grip tightening around the hilt. It was more than a weapon. It was a promise, a memory she refused to leave behind. Returning to the balcony, she took a steady breath. Then, without hesitation, Monica grasped the line and launched herself into the night. The wind rushed past as she descended swiftly, her landing silent and controlled. Osmond followed moments later, retracting the cable once his feet touched the ground. For the first time in what felt like forever, Monica stood beyond the castle walls. Freedom hit her like a wave. "I'm free again," she exclaimed, unable to contain her relief. She turned and embraced Osmond tightly. "Thank you. Truly." Osmond chuckled softly, but shook his head. "Don't thank me just yet. We need to reach Palm Brinks before anyone notices you're gone." Monica stepped back, her expression sharpening with purpose. "Then lead the way, Osmond. I'll follow." Without another word, the two slipped into the shadows of the forest, leaving the castle behind. As the trees closed around them, Monica felt something stir within her, a long-forgotten spark, the same spirit that had carried her through danger, through time, and through everything she'd faced alongside Max. This time, she would not be too late. With renewed determination and the power to change fate itself, Monica pressed forward into the darkness. However, her escape did not evade notice. From the sombre confines of his dimly lit room in the castle, Gaius observed Monica's swift departure into the forest through his window. With a sly smile, he remarked, "It seems the Queen is disregarding her royal responsibilities." There was an absence of surprise in his tone as he settled into his comfortable chair. "Nevertheless, the penalty for renouncing one's oath is death, irrespective of one's status. Isn't that correct, Shadowclaw?" However, her escape did not go unnoticed. From the shadowed stillness of his dimly lit chamber, Gaius stood at the window, watching as Monica and Osmond disappeared into the forest beyond the castle walls. The faint glow of moonlight traced their path only briefly before the darkness swallowed them whole. A slow, knowing smile crept across his face. "It seems the Queen is disregarding her royal responsibilities." There was no surprise in his voice, only quiet satisfaction. He turned away from the window and eased himself into his chair, steepling his fingers as though contemplating something already decided. "Nevertheless, the penalty for renouncing one's oath is death, irrespective of one's status. Isn't that correct, Shadowclaw?" The room shifted. From the deepest corner of darkness, a figure emerged, as though carved from the night itself. A teenage girl stepped forward, her presence almost silent, her form entirely cloaked in obsidian. Her attire was sleek and precise, designed for movement without sound. A hooded cloak fell around her, like a second shadow, and her face was concealed behind a mask, shaped in the likeness of an owl, its hollow gaze both watchful and unnerving. Twin blades rested at her hips, their polished edges catching the faintest glimmer of light. She knelt before him without hesitation. "Yes, master." Her voice was low, controlled, and utterly devoid of doubt. Gaius regarded her with calm authority, his expression cool and composed, though something darker flickered beneath the surface. "Your task is to proceed to Palm Brinks, for it is there that Monica seeks refuge. Locate her without fail, and ensure her demise alongside that of Osmond." A single silent breath passed before she responded. "As you wish, master." Rising in one fluid motion, Shadowclaw withdrew into the darkness as seamlessly as she had appeared, her presence dissolving into the night, her purpose clear and unwavering. The room fell silent once more. Gaius leaned back into his chair, the faint glow of candlelight dancing across his features as a sinister smile spread across his face. There was no doubt in his mind. Everything was unfolding exactly as he had planned.